Hello，可明，听到我讲话吗？
OK OK 可以
可明，Hello，
，Hello Hello OK 听到。Hi, good morning. So we will be starting in 10 minutes. So we'll wait for the other participants to come in. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, mic test. So we'll be starting sharp at 10. So if you have any friends who will be joining, you can also remind them. Good morning and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today webinar applying IFRS S1 and S2. So what Malaysian companies must do for ESG reporting in 2025. Now, with ESG reporting entering a new era, Malaysian companies need to act now, and this session is here to help you to understand exactly what IFRS S1 and S2 mean. So how to prepare for compliance in the year ahead. So we are honored to have our speaker, Ms. Jolene Cha, today with extensive experience in sustainability reporting and regulatory compliance. Ms. Jolene will walk us through the key updates, implications for Malaysian business, and some practical steps forward. Before we begin, just a few quick house rules. So please keep your microphone muted throughout the session and feel free to post any questions or Q&A that you want to ask in the chat box. We'll address them during the end of the session. A recording of this session will also be shared with all the registered participants after the webinar. So if you experience any technical issues, our support team will be assisting you. Just feel free to type in the chat. So now, let's begin and we'll pass our time to our speaker for today, Ms. Jolene.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Kamin, for the introduction, and hello to all of you that make this time for this morning. Let me share my content. Give me a moment. Okay, I just want to double check, is everyone able to see my share screen? If you can see, can you just type 111 into the group chat? Yes, yeah. Thank you, Kamin. I also wish that everyone, if you can check, you are available. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. So, good morning, everyone. Since 2021, the first ever ESG summit that has been done by KSI, I think the whole landscape of the sustainability in Malaysia has been a lot of evaluation and evolution as well. So there is some announcement in 2024, and it is actually a good start for Malaysia to actually moving towards the global standard. So today I will just do a very basic sharing, and then of course we only have 2 hours. We'll try to utilize as much time as we could, so that we're able to move on from this sharing. And then of course we will come Q&A. But we will only address them after the end of the sharing. Yeah. Okay. So just to recap a little bit. So for today's sharing objective, we want to understand the ISSB standards, which is the IFRS S1 and 2, and also understand how to apply them. So when we understand how to apply them, it will be more helpful for us when we prepare our sustainability journey in our organization. Yeah. So before that, can you just scan this? I just want to know how much do you already know about this IFRS? We'll scan it and put it up. Let's do some interaction so we can know how much knowledge that you have obtained, and also we want to know that what is the differences within this group of people. Yeah. So you can scan the QR code, or you can go to slido.com and then key in this number, and then you can put in the information. So I just give around 2 minutes for everyone to type it. Beginner. Okay, first time heard about IFRS. Wow. Little something about ESG intermediate. Oh, we have intermediate here. Then maybe intermediate may have to bear with us because we are doing very basic concepts and also some examples. Yeah. Then to report IFRS. Yeah. Okay. Skin deep info. Okay. Newbie, something new. Not only the theory. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we wait for these three participants to finish typing. We will proceed to the next slide. Yeah. So you can see that most of us are beginner. Most of you here, but it's fine. We can do some sharing in between. So those who are intermediate and already know about it, during our sharing later on, you can also share your ideas and concept that you have done. Environmental friendly, no, but not really no in depth. Okay, first timer, social governance. Okay, we can see there's a lot. And then one question that I really want to address is unsure of how to start. This is something that everyone is looking into it. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to also ask, why did you join today's meeting? Yeah. So I mean today's sharing. So can also share with us why did you join today's sharing so that we can also get to know everyone. Planning to report next year. Yeah. I think that IFRS is something that people are feeling a little bit unfamiliar. So especially we have some informations, but we do not know how to start. It is normal because they just introduced in 2023, and we only have some examples from the Western country, and then Malaysia, we do not have any how to say great example. There are people already applying, but they are still in a very preempt stage. So it is good that everybody wants to move together. Yeah. Okay. Assessing which standard to commit to versus GRI and ISSB. Later we will share about this part. This one is a very interesting part. Okay. To understand and learn more, embedded in my teaching. Wow. Oh, we have some seafood here. Welcome, welcome. So later on, probably the sharing we can work together as well. To get insight how to kickstart. That is good. Prepare the report soon. Very honest. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I just think that is a good feedback so that we can see where you are and what you are proposing at. Okay. Now, before we start, I just want to have a disclaimer. So this information is provided as is basis without any representations or warranties of any kind. So this information does not constitute any legal financing, trading, or advisory, and it does not make any recommendation or endorsement regarding any or all products mentioned. Okay, so all participants of these presentations and the person reading the information in these presentation slides are advised to seek independent advice or consult relevant laws, regulations, and rule barriers to relying on or taking any action based on the information presented. So all example and views expressed are entirely the presenter's own. So One Island Consultancy and the presenter, we do not accept any liability for the information provided during the presentation and in the presentation slides, included but not limited to any liability pertaining to the accuracy, completeness, or currency of the information, and for any decision made on basis of this information. And I also want to share to everyone, the IFRS Foundation does not endorse any opinion, idea, information, approach, use case, and or solution mentioned or referred to in the example featured. Any content owned or produced by the parties in these courses should not be considered as representative of the views of the official position of the IFRS Foundation. So we have to do this disclaimer, yeah? Okay. Now, let's move on. As you can see in the growth of investor commitments, especially you look under these assets that under management, it go way back in 2006, and then you look at 2021. It's actually the whole number of securities on the assets under management is going up. So you can check the data for the PRI database. So we can see that investors are going in, so they really look for opportunities, but what type of business they want to go in and what type of longevity or continuity they are looking at, that is something they would love to measure. And when they want to measure on this, they will actually look into the company commitments, and especially after the global pandemic, we realized that a lot of company they are suffering because of resilience issue. So we learned so much during this pandemic, and then we also learned so much that how behavior of investors, movement, and also changes on their. So especially when you are actually in a listed company, then there are so many shareholder or stakeholders that you need to actually show the transparency. So for SME, you are in the value chain. So unless today your clients has totally not involved with any supply chain or value chains that require you to produce report. So by for now, basically 80% and above are really involved in the value chain. So it is something we can see the growth, especially when it comes to investment. So I just want to show you some information. So what is the top drivers that has a rise interest in for sustainability investing? So this one we took from the Morgan Stanley Sustainable Signal. So it shows that financial performance of sustainable investment is something they are looking at, because they want to know that what is the business continuity plan and how you actually put on your business arrangement. So it is interesting to see that new climate science findings is actually one of the main interests. Natural resources has become something very concerned, and how we strategize to use the whatever left for us now to become some product, and the ending of the product will become the raw material of our initial stage, has become something that very significant. So this is about life cycle, and life cycle has been in the market for a long time. I mean, this concept, but why are we not applying, and which has caused us financial impact for not applying? There are also the concern from the investor. And of course, market dynamics, broader economic performance. This has been a good debate for a long time, and inflation, we cannot hide from it. But of course, the most important is where ESG framework comes in. We want to show currency, accountability, transparency, so it becomes like a legal tools as well to actually consider the company governance. So these are the top 5 interests that actually rising towards the sustainable investing. Now, how does it really actually affect on financial performance? Just for example, changes in this revenue will actually affect what is the disruption impact on the whole management. So just to give you an example, let's say we have a change of demand for product and services when it deals to consumer preference. This actually will disrupt the whole production. So from the raw material until the end product, the whole planning and the workforce management, especially in management accounting, calculating the raw material per cost, may increase or decrease based on the demand and the preference of the customer. So when the effect comes into revenue, it actually not only looking into what you are producing, profit and loss. It's not just dollar and cents. It's about dollar and cents. Sorry, it's just the whole production disruption. And of course, when there is a disruption, there will be changes in your operating costs. So perhaps you want to be more competitive, then R&D has to be required. So recently, we just have a client in Vietnam. Well, we were just back from Vietnam. So they also share their concern as the uh, the operating cost increase due to the change of the customer preference, and also the increase of demand on transparency of how they present their products towards Europe market. So all these are very associate how you deploy new practices, process, because this will be included in your costing and it will definitely changes in your production costing. Especially, I would say, is workforce. I thought that only Malaysia, Singapore, where this area are facing workforce matter, human talent. Actually, it's in the same in Vietnam, in Laos, in almost every country. So this has been a trend, and it wasn't a trend until after the pandemic, and then it actually shift a lot of behavior. So all these changes will be your expenditure, because to train a human talent is is a time investment, and also is a financial investment, and also a knowledge investment, because you are having the senior to actually guide them. Yeah, so all this costing is something that we have not been putting on into the paper. Yeah. Okay. And of course, when the above two is affecting us, there will be change of portfolio, um, your value, your equity. The most important is what is the type of the assets that you need to write off. Is there any early retirement or existing assets, or you have any acquisitions? And the most important is how you repricing your assets. Yeah? So this will affect the whole financial structures and your cost of capital. So as you know, we have the announcement from our country that insurance premiums increased this year. So this is also something that will affect the financial positioning. So why is the increase, and how it will be actually affect all on our cost of capital? This is something that we need to look into it. So there are some further resources that you can uh, take on for reading and study. It will be under the educational materials on IFRS Foundation. You can just register an email. It's very simple. You can look into it, or you can go for ESMA or any reason IFRS education materials. Yeah. Let's look into a bigger picture. So we all know that the financial effect is happening. So what are the risks? In this World Economic Forum Global Risk Report in 2024, it actually, when I look into it, I feel that the changes is too huge, because in 2023, they say that the risk for the 2 years time was actually is extreme weathers. But when I look into 2024, you can see now it's a misinformation and disinformation. This is related to technology. You can see the risk category color is on the left hand side. And then, of course, extreme weather events still remain one of the top three. But social polarizations has grown, which means that now we are in a situation that we need to look into not only social capital, but also human capital, and how our data collected being properly inserted into our report. Yeah. But in 10 years' time, you can see the critical change for the whole Earth system, and biodiversity loss has been a very big, big portion of it. As you can go to Google and actually check, we have a lesser clean water nowadays. It's a lesser than 30%. So it has some prediction that in the next 50 years we have more desert. So Malaysia is a place that we are very blessed. Blessed in what? Blessed in we still have a lot of clean water, and we are actually should practice how we look into our water management as well, because we have this rainwater harvesting. yet we are not widely practiced. So these are all the small little things we could do to help the natural resources to be not at the edge of a shortage. However, if you look in the long term, it is something that we need to rethink, and it's very much related to the life cycle. Yeah. So connection between all these risks, you can see those important like economic downturn. It actually have very much related to the labor shortage, geoeconomy confrontations. I think the tariff issue and the recent American president's statement is also making a lot of people confusing. And you look into social polarizations, they put very much on how you will affect the destruction to critical infrastructure and also the intersect of armed conflict, and it goes down to insufficient infrastructure and services, and it relates back to the lack of economic opportunity. So the whole connection over here is to show that the risk that we are facing is all interconnected. And if we neglect each of one, and then it will actually bring more ripple effect to us. Yeah. So since that we have know what is the big picture of the world, we want to come to what structure of IFRS Foundation and why it happens. So for public accountability, IFRS Foundation is a monitoring board, and then they have this governance strategy oversight by IFRS Foundation trustee. Now they have this independent standard setting, which is by the International Accounting Standard Board, and also they have the interpretation committee to actually oversee this. That's where it comes out with another standards that you could see, which is the International Sustainability Standards Board, which is the ISSB. So the whole evolutions for the reporting standards, like just now, we have seen some of you has put up. You wanted to know that compare for GRI or ISSB or TCFD, or even some of you here, if you are manufacturing, there will be CDP. So in fact, you can see that why IFRS has become most preference standards to be used by most of the country. Because from GRI's view, they're committed to jointly identify and align common disclosure. And IFRS is aligned with CDP. They also consolidate the Climate Disclosure Standard Board and also Integrated Reporting, SASB. Yeah. So if you can go to IFRS website, you also can see that SASB has declared that they are part of the IFRS Foundation now. And then TCFD has been adopted and monitored. And you can see the new one, the transition plan of task force. These, they are responsible for all our metrics and materials that we want to disclose. So the whole thing is a very comprehensive in a way that it actually align and consolidate by the standards of others that have been looking into it. So usually I will also advise that you can go to this SASB. You actually can type IFRS.SASB, and then you can see that where is your what is your field in, and also what is the industry. You click in, and then they have the material to show you what you'll be reporting that is more related towards you. It's a very good guide on that. So it's a start, like SASB will give you the information. Yeah. So as we know that in 2022 September, Malaysia announced on the sustainability reporting guide, also shared that we would have to put TCFD into our reporting, especially for those listed companies. However, moving from TCFD to ISSB, you can see that every day are adopted and monitored. So TCFD has actually culminated, and the IFRS Foundation has now assumed responsibility for the whole TCFD monitoring. So I have attached some news over here. So in case in case that you were wondering, is it there are two different things? Actually, they just use different wording. They capture same information. So IFRS S2 require more detailed information that is in line with TCFD. And also they will provide you additional requirement and guidance. So the whole IFRS S2 is actually very TCFD recommendation. It's just a different wording, yeah. And for that, it will help you to actually set where is your baseline. So of course, we need to look back on what is the jurisdiction specific requirement, which is like for us, Malaysia, listed company, Bursa Malaysia, and capital market also shared some information to the SME, how you could actually kickstart by using the SEDG. And of course, last year, they have also improvised with ASEAN SEDG. It's called ASEDG. Why? They want us to look into a bigger picture that if we are involved in this ASEAN business. Of course, if your business is moving not only within Malaysia, not within ASEAN, it's also in other region like Europe or America or Africa. We also need to know what is the broader multi-stakeholder needs. So for ISSB standard, it was actually a very comprehensive foundation and disclosure for the whole global jurisdiction of the option, which means that it's very uh, similar and then it can be easily adopted by global. And also when you want to do comparison or decision making, it is a common language. And the whole framework and standards is designed to actually meet investor needs, not only in your local capital markets, but also global capital markets. In fact, you can also go to IFRS website to see that which country they have adopted and what is the stage. For a start, you can actually go and search for Malaysia. So in Malaysia, they put it very clearly that when the announcement happened, what is the national framework, which later on we will cover, and how it actually being supported by which of our minister, and then ministry, sorry, not minister, sorry. So and how it will related and when is the full adoption of the standard. We will cover later, but I'm just sharing to you that you can go and have a look. So let's say you have businesses in Vietnam. You wanted to know that Vietnam has adopted ISSB, you can just go and look into it. And also you can go, let's say you're in Thailand or you're in Cambodia or you are in Singapore. You can see when that they have adopted, how far they adopt, and then you could see that actually whatever you're reporting now is quite comparative similar, so it's easy for you to make a decision. Okay, now actually ISSB, it provides the very comprehensive global baseline through standards, not framework, it's through standards. And you can see that different global movement has also moved on towards supporting ISSB. So Oslo actually endorses the standard and also recommending people to adopt. And audit standard also they enhance and develop assurance standard. So for example, ISSB also come out with their own standard, which is the ISSA 5000. So things are coming up very global and also very common in a way that is the same standard that everybody can actually compare in the same way. Yeah, of course, jurisdically, a lot of country has adopted ISSB, and Malaysia has officially shared that they are adopting this year onwards for main markets that is 2 billion and above. That later on we will also share about it. So a few important terms that I would like to share, which is when you look into the IFRS, they want you to actually disclose your sustainability related financial information. And for that, they want you to actually share about what is the risk and opportunity. Primary use is for general purpose financial report. And then for those risks and opportunity that you lay out, can it be elaborate how it will be expected to affect your your company, such as in any cash flow issue, any cost of capital, and it's over not for like particular year, it's a short, medium, or long term. And they also want to know what is the general purpose of financial reports. The whole thing is on your management commentary, which means that it shows the report, not only just the figure that you make, how you actually mitigate risk, and also tap on the opportunities from your company analysis. And from there on, how it will be affect your cash flow. Is it improve or improve your P&L? So over the stretch of period of time, that will help business to look into their longevity, their continuity, and also to know that how they could use the opportunity towards their strength to tap into the market share or maybe expand the market share. Yeah. So today, we will share 4 areas on how you should actually practice them into your business. And this will adopt into your business in governance area, strategy, your risk management, and how the metrics and targets. So along the way, when I make the sharing, we will also show you some example so that you can actually understand how it looks like, and you may also start from your side as well. Now, let's go into the IFRS S1, because just now we talked about how the global, how the concept, how you actually formulate this IFRS. Now, let's go more into it now in S1. So S1 is like more in a general requirement and very related to financial information. So they require your material information. They require your sustainability related risk and opportunity. So you have to actually share what's the risk, what's the opportunity. And they are using TCFD architecture. Like I shared just now, they are now presumed to take the responsibility for this monitoring. So definitely they will use the architecture in it. And Malaysia, Bursa Malaysia has required all the listed company, be it you are in main and or ACE, leave aside, you will have to actually do the TCFD format for the whole framework. Yeah. Also, they require you to do industry-specific disclosure. So which kind of industry, and in the industry, also which subtype of industry you're in. So they want it to be very focused. And that you can actually go to the IFRS website, like I said, you go into the SASB, it will help you in the industry specified. And all this, you can source for what is your identified related risk and opportunity, and then they want you to go beyond just only climate. So this one can be used in any accounting requirement for S1. Yeah. Whereas for S2, it's very climate related disclosure. Everything is about climate. So as we shared just now, TCFD recommendation, they have incorporated, and you have to meet the investor information needs and use accordingly with the S1. So again, you still need to disclose the material information, but it's about climate related this time. What is the risk? What is the opportunity? What is your transitions toward low carbon? What is your roadmap towards net zero 2050? And also require you to have more industry disclosure. And all this will be using the guideline built in SASB standards. Okay, so in the conclusion is both has to be together. So S2 is to be applied whatever according to the S1. Why? Because S1, they help you to establish your conceptual foundation, your information, your value change, your roadmap, and then it provides you the assessment for the materiality. Then you can set out what is the qualitative characteristics, and then what is more relevant to you, what type of information is affecting your company decision. Is it take care of your stakeholders' concern, and what type of analysis should you be put on your stakeholder? And this help you to set up the whole reporting in a way where is your connection and what is the comparative information that can be found in the reporting where it compares to your competitor or those in the same industry with you. So it will help you to benchmark where you are. Okay, so this is how it works both together. These two material can be easily downloaded in S1 and S2. Yeah. So since that we have understand what is S1 and S2, just would want to repeat again what is the conceptual foundation before we go into the example. So this whole complete set of this disclosure, it will actually wanted you to have fair presentation. So it will want you to share what is your company's prospect, and then it will be more transparent and in a way how you actually relate yourself in this sustainability movement. And of course, in the same time, you will also have to declare and disclose what is your financial information. And with this connection, you can see a few things. There is a non-financial disclosure and also financial disclosure in a way how the whole core content will help you and help your investor to understand your business movement and how related you are with sustainability. And that will help you to convince your investor why your business are in the path of continuity. Yeah. So this is the conceptual foundation that you should set when you started to do the report. Yeah. So I just give you an example. Requirement IFRS S1.35 COD, and also IFRS S2.16 CD. This is a collected information. So currently, if you have company car, we all are looking at the company car in a way it is a petrol car, and you have a 5-year transition plan that you want to be more green within your organizations and movements towards this net zero. So you want to change to EV car. Then it is actually sustainability related to financial disclosure. Currently, it has not affected any financial position or any financial performance because you have been using this company car, which is using petrol for a long time. But you got to anticipate that the next 2 to 5 years. So what is the quantitative information on capital expenditure if this new vehicle comes into your entity? So you need to also put up charging point, and will this helpful for any reduction on your fuel cost? And what is the information that regarding your sustainability related to risk and opportunity? So you need to share the whole transition plan. What is the risk? What is the opportunity? And as well, how much you need for this transition to work. So it will reflect in your financial and also non-financial disclosure. So this is one of the example. Yeah. Another one is you could see from BHP Annual Report 2023. Give me a moment. You can see that they say that the capital allocations toward pathway and solution, decarbonization is embedded in our annual investment and prioritization. So all investment decisions consider the quantity of greenhouse gas emission. Means what? They are sharing to you that decarbonization now is their first priority on consideration when it comes to any of the company investment, because they want to go for net zero strategy, which means that I can make the decision to invest is no longer just dollar and cents. It's also the quantity of the greenhouse gas emission. If I could make the ROI in the same time, I can reduce this greenhouse gas emission, then yes, this is the investment I'm looking into. This is what BHP is trying to tell us. Now look in the second paragraph. It says that in 2023, we spent 122 million on initiatives associated with the operational greenhouse gas emission reduction, which means that this is the financial measurement on the amount they have spent, but this initiative is to reduce greenhouse gas emission. And look into the third paragraph saying that from 2024 to 2030, they have an anticipation. This is a short-term plan, medium-term plan, which they tell you that they expect to spend around 4 billion nominal value on operational decarbonization. So you see from the top, they tell you what is their movement, how they make decision on their investment, what is their prioritization. So investment no longer just profit and loss, but also considering in greenhouse gas emission. And the second, they tell you in the past how much they have initiated into this greenhouse gas emission reduction. On top, tell you what is their consider. Second, tell you what they do. Third, what is their medium to long-term plan on operational decarbonization by telling you how much they will be spending. And you can see that they have this assumption on the current assumption, the overall portfolio of decarbonization project to support achievement of our medium-term target is expected to deliver a positive net present value. After you phrase it, show people how you are doing it and what is your anticipation for the next medium to long term, and what is your assumption and anticipation for your medium and long term. So this is how the example of a report that have all the connected information. So the first part is to tell you what is the strategy that link to the investment decision. Second part, connecting your future spending plans, targets with your current practice. Yeah. So this is one of the example that how the report has been properly phrased out. Okay. Now, if we move forward, we talk about maturity. As we know that for just now is a narrative on their business strategies, business direction, business movement, and how they put into their consideration when it comes to investment. But materiality is something that company will see how it affect your prospects, and you will see how this information about sustainability related risk and opportunity could help you to make better decision, not only in investment and also can be in your operation. So if this information is being omitted or misstating. Misstating means that the data or the analysis wasn't accurate or obscuring, then this information could be expected to actually influence your decision, especially for those primary user of your financial reporting, which is always come back is what your investor, your stakeholders. Yeah. So this will actually affect these people whether they wanted to put in the investment or to be with you or to also understand what is your movement. Yeah. So maturity is very important in a way, and it's the most important steps to collect accurate data. Yeah. Now, some additional guides to you that you can actually go to all these published standards. And IFRS, I would say that it's very comprehensive. It will help you to do the first phase of the framework. And then there are, over the time, there are more educational materials can be searched in their resources and library. Yeah. Now, let's come to Malaysia adoption. For Malaysia adoption, in 24th September 2024, the Ministry of Finance has actually announced on the National Sustainability Reporting Framework. It can be easily obtained in Google. You just type this NSRF in PDF. They have in Malay language and also in English. So what they introduce that what is the S1, S2 disclosure and what kind of baseline they are looking at. Of course, when there is a framework issue that will be affecting different type of entity. So main market listed, which is having the market capitalization of 2 billions and above, then it will be starting the ISSP, which is we called it the IFRS S1 and 2 in the 1st January 2025, means this year. Other main market listed issue that's not in group 1 in 2026. So ACE market listed issuers or any non-listed company that you have annual revenue 2 billion and above for 2 consecutive financial year preceding the current financial year, you also have to start reporting. So this is the National Sustainability Reporting Framework. It shares in this way. Okay. So what we expect is Bursa has already announced, it gave us the best Christmas present last year. This is the whole informations you can also find from their media release. So it's actually tally back to what we shared just now. If you could look into it on the period of the reporting from the 1st January 2025 onwards for all 2 billion and above. So what does this mean to you? This means that Malaysia will be fully adopt ISSB standards, which is the IFRS S1 and 2 by 2027. Yeah. So this transition period is very important for us to ready ourselves to understand that this is the maturity that we need to look into our company and also how we'll be aligning. Yeah. So the NSR, this is heavily anticipated to align with ISSB. So you can come in to the NSRF PDF and then you can find this page. It's very clearly to tell you that what is the timeline of the fully implementation of ISSB. And for those who are 2 billion and above, you are required to have a full disclosure by this year. Yeah. And then full adoption, including your scope 3 emission disclosure being verified in 2027. So of course, if you could see movement every year is going. So in 2027, at the group 3, they have to adopt, which means that Malaysia will be fully adopt the IFRS S1 and 2, the ISSB standard by 2027. Yeah. So this information you can actually go through the NSRF, and then you can actually look into it and see what is the timeliness for you. Yeah. Now, wanted a lot of people wanted to know how should I be applying now? Since that I've shared what is the compliance for Malaysia and also what is IFRS and giving you some example, let's move on to really put our hand into it and how it will affect us in business. Yeah. So remember this. I want to recall for everyone that we shared just now. We talked about these core content areas: governance, strategy, risk management, and metrics. Now, along the way, there will be also example like just now to share with you. Okay. Now, in governance model, okay, I would like to repeat. We go through this sequence: governance, strategy, risk management, and metrics. So in governance, you could see this is an example, AIB Group. So they have this board risk committee. What does that mean? It means that they want to ensure the risk within the group is being identified. And also they want you to assess it so that you can manage it and then you report it in your reporting. But of course, the main thing they want to know is how you take the strategy to handle this operational risk and what is the scope and how it can be mitigated is all including. And then the most important we're talking about right now is a climate risk. Then if you can see the second part is the Sustainable Business Advisory Committee. This part is to support the whole business strategy and sustainability, including what? Including developing, including in creating, safeguarding, whatever social license to operate. So for example, your business, SSM, every year renewal, you need to have AGM, all this, and then whatever that is a disclosure that outside of your annual report. Then you see the third one is the Board Audit Committee. This one is to oversee the whole integrity of the company in your accounting policy. Be it financial and narrative reporting or any non-financial, it is all has to be disclosed in your internal control framework. So Board Audit Committee is very important. Yeah. Okay. Now, another example for you, Toyota. So what Toyota shared on their board, what is their role? So they tell you that what is the board of directors they will do. And then you can see they show you deliberate and supervise strategy. This is one of their roles. So they come out with major action plan. What is the business plan? And then the second part, they tell you how they monitor towards qualitative and quantitative target. Now, look at the number 4. It shows that what it has done to inform this strategy. So they tell you that this governance mechanism is a long-term strategy. See, short, medium, or long. They tell you long-term. Including, they also have a Toyota Environmental Challenge 2050. So they formulate a medium to a long-term target and action plan. We all know that net zero 2050 is happening, but of course some country is doing net zero 2065, but commonly it's 2050. So Toyota take this opportunity to actually rename this net zero by calling themselves Toyota Environmental Challenge. So this is the strategy for them to move on. And then they show you in the last paragraph what is the action taken and what kind of investment they put in. So since that, the decision made by the board in 2022, so they have approved what? Carbon neutral. How to identify them? So how it can be relayed back to their development plan, relate back to number 4 just now, the Toyota Environmental Challenge 2050. So they also tell you that they decided the resolution, the level of battery-related investment. They tell you is their battery. This is the first thing they want to do so that they can expand their line in EV. It's very clear to tell you what is the role, what strategy has done, what action is taken. Very interrelated. Yeah. So this is in the governance model that how you can analyze qualitative information in your business strategy and incorporate them in IFRS. Okay, so this is one of the first steps you can do. Now, how you have the identification of risk. So this one we took from the Goldfields Limited. It's an integrated annual report. You can see that from strategy priorities, they shared to you that what is their pillar 1 strategy, pillar 2 strategy, and pillar 3 strategy. From this, they shared with you their core 3 strategy priorities. And from there on, they also analyze and show what is the top 15 group risk. This is all through maturity assessment, yeah, and of course stakeholder analysis. And from here, the risk mitigation will also show you how they actually take this information and what they wanted to do priority, the most important priority, and it based on the 3 strategy. That's why you see the different color they have put out. So for example, 7 and 8 is here, evaluating value, creative opportunities to grow our portfolio. And then you look at this color related to strategy pillar 3, grow the value and quality of our portfolio to assets. So these are all interrelated, and then they want to know what is the risk. Okay, from achieving this, they have to come up what is the risk, what is the identification, and this is the mitigation plan for the risk. It is clearly stated out and clearly aligning back with the strategy. Okay. Now, a lot of people say, yeah, when we want to do this, there are so many things that we need to think about. We need to think about what is your company specifically that want to include in your industry, especially certain industry may not only have one maturity, but lots of maturities. I mean, one set of maturity, but maybe have 2 sets that are integrated. So I just want to share with everyone that you don't actually have to stick with one time horizons, because this depends on what type of strategy you want to use and how you want to use it. And at the end of the day, what is your business strategy that you want to move on? So this 3 horizons framework actually is very helpful. It can help you to look into what is your cash flow, your business cycles, what is the decision making that also can able to show your capital allocation. Then you have assessment periods, and you can also see what the investors response to you. And from there, you may also want to discuss and rethink and re-strategize what is your life of your assets, because every asset is also part of the capital allocation. Yeah. Now, give you an example how the effect on the business model and the value chain. So this is from BASF report. They show you that their transformation. Okay, so they actually very clearly put up what is the supply chain, and then what is their productions and what is their product. So it is very clear transformation. Now let's look at the one that I would really want to share, infrastructure on the supply chain side. Network expansion and infrastructure for the transportation of hydrogen and CO2. So they tell you what? They use digitalization and automation. So end up, what is the product? The business model will be digitalized and circular approaches, which means that the whole infrastructure, they already know what they want to do, because this is part of the supply chain. They analyze one supply chain by another one, and then they put into the production and what is the outcome. Products outcome, it doesn't mean that only for your product. There can be your operational assessments as well. And you look at services at the product, they tell you what is the transparency on their product carbon footprint, what is their corporate carbon footprint, what is the take-back system, so you can see very clear how it runs. And they even show you some selected project in 2023. You look at it, they share to you like inaugurations of the Hollandse offshore wind farm. Then they tell you the information is at where. So this is the first step that you do for the energy. And you can also go to number 5. You say innovation driver, new sustainability solutions steering method. So these are all within their supply chain and how they actually innovate more in during the production, and then it becomes something new in their products. Yeah. And next one, we will show you another information, which is this disclosure is very important. A lot of people they say that we just collect data will do. Yes, you collect data, but you need to ask the questions and analyze what is the risk and opportunity, especially when your current financial performance and your positioning. This is very important for you to help you to look into the risk and opportunity on your financial effect. Eventually, if you look into it, you want to improve your climate-related opportunity and reduce the risk. It will very much related to how you plan your financial movement. And for this, not only quantitative information, it needs your company to have resources to put up all this disclosure and make sure that this kind of expertise has been brought down to the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, short, medium, long-term strategy, so that you were able to produce quality quantitative informations. So these are very interrelated. Yeah. Now I'll give you an example for financial effect on Unilever annual report. They say that here financial quantifications of assessed risk and opportunity. Look into the physical environmental risk, extreme weather, temperature impact on crop yields. So it says that we quantify how extreme weather events such as sustained high temperature could impact crop output and therefore sourcing costs across key commodities. And they will tell you what is the key assumption. This is assumption case. By 2050, a proactive scenario, extreme weather would increase prices by, on the palm oil, 12%, commodities and food ingredient, 14%. And by 2050, a reactive scenario, extreme weather would increase prices by palm oil 18%, and commodities, food is 21%. Now, what is the sensitivity? They even show you the sensitivity. P means they are using a proactive approach to manage climate change. But if they don't take any reaction, any proactive approach, they use reactive approach, which means that it happens only they react to manage. They even show you the potential for their financial impact by 2030, 2039, and 2050, and where they calculate the presumption, they even show you what is the differences. Maybe in 2030, the differences is not huge, but by 2050, it's almost double the size. So these are some financial effects that are related to climate, but it affects the financial. This is how they put up the information in a way, not only analyzing for now. When your business strategy being done, it has to have a key assumption, what is happening and how you want to take action towards it. This is one of a good report that we can learn from it. I will not say that it's a benchmark, but it is something that we could, think about it. We could more look into more how we mitigate our risks and how we could plan the business future and how we still stay in the market for competitiveness. Personally, I really love this report. Yeah. Another one is from Stora Enso annual report. these are more narrative writing, and of course they have shared their strategy in a way. They also tell you what is their current situations and what they anticipate the business model will be changed. So you look at it, it says that they have a long, rich history, dated back when 1288. And then it says that their current the current demands in the market is they actually look into business culture, which can manage market fluctuations. But recent year, they also tell you that they have been through comprehensive transformation. They are taking proactiveness to reposition their company. So they also go into global renewal materials. They tell you that they want their future, ensuring our future for many years to come. So people are going into sustainability to ensure business longevity and continuity. So mitigating risks and also emphasize on our opportunity is no longer just some reporting requirement. It should help you with new opportunities. So I give you for example, this example I cannot put here because I signed NDA. So I can share with you is this client of ours, they actually engage us to just do calculations for their non-financial climate-related disclosure. And we told them that they really need to go through a lot of things, and we can see that how suffer they are during the transitions. So during this whole process that we were there with them to calculate and also making qualitative and quantitative disclosure on their non-financial climate disclosure, we help them to find a new business opportunity which is related to their current business, but they are able to seize this new opportunity, and then they have another business open up. So they are actually doing the ATM machine. They provide ATM machine. Of course, it become from the traditional, become AI and so on and so on. So what is their biggest challenge is they have these parts that always break down, and then when they have to collect it and then dispose for their clients. They are not only ATM machine, they also have some other machines that they are doing. So their clients are so wide. And every time they have to collect all this, and then they send to the e-waste. And all this is free of charge from the client. So after learning through that cash, nowadays rarely people use cash, right? They usually use what? Touch and go lah, card or everything, online transfer, anything. So understanding that cash may not be the mainstream anymore, they turn the business by collecting all this to become e-waste. So they have another unit to actually open up to become an e-waste company. They still run their current company, but they found another new opportunity to go in. So instead of just collecting this for free, increasing their carbon footprint to also go here and there, it becomes a business model. And the fantastic part is not only just limited to whatever machine they provide to their client. When they collect for the recycle, they also propose to their clients that whatever electronics your company been using and you wanted to change, or any that you want to dispose, that could become to us. But bear in mind, their first original business was actually providing these machines and all this now. They did not look into this until 2 years ago. So this is something when we have the strategy and decision making based on what we anticipated changes. So this company anticipated that cash may not be the mainstream anymore. So let's go into something else. And then now they have this kind of machines that you don't even need to bring your card. I think now quite common in Malaysia as well. I'm not sure you tried that before because maybe most of you do not use cash anymore. If you want to take cash, you need not to use a card anymore. You can actually through your apps and then you can collect cash. So this kind of changes is because knowing that human behavior love to take their phone. I can definitely share to you, I forgot my IC, I forgot my wallet, I forgot my cash, but I will not forget my phone. I thought I would be someone that not that type. I can't live without phone. Then I do. So these are behavior, environment changes, and whatever these changes in the big environment, they actually affect how our company able to capture the opportunity and then we move on. Yeah. So SOVA 2022 annual integrated report also shows that what is the scenario analysis. They share to you that what is their transitions risk during the transition, what is their focus, what is their risk, and then in the end, on the conclusion, they also tell you that they get their soda ash business relies highly on the competitive price advantage. So they tell you that since the price of raw material and our own operation will increase in a 1.5% scenario, the scenario analysis conclude that in absence of cost pass-through measures, the contribution margin could decrease by to 16%. So additional demand for glass for energy efficient building would drive overall profit and sales. Sales could increase 2.4 billion in the 1.5% scenario. So 1.5 Celsius scenario. So they tell you that this is their emission and their total emission will actually affect the climate decrease of the increase of 1.5 Celsius. So from there, they actually look into their margin and then they understand that if this keep on happening will affect their raw material, which is the destruction of their supply chain, and then it will affect the overall profit and loss. Hence, they tell you that what they do alternatively. So this is a scenario analysis. Yeah. So this is a very technical analysis, but it actually share the relatedness of the financial and also the non-financial, which is the climate related. Okay. So what type of climate related risk you will be looking at? We have to accept that transition risk comes now and all it is there. Policy has been changing since 2024, like Malaysia, we have few changes, but even our environmental act has been changed. There's so much changes along the way because we have evolved to become better. And technology before pandemic, AI is like just something we know, but we don't know how great is it. Like today, I believe that most of us will still use ChatGPT to find tune our stuff or even just to do other simple other tasks that can cut down your time consuming. Yeah. And the market switch all the time. And it also the reputation on depending how our actions doing. So just give some examples. The changing of customer behavior. We are uncertain what is the market signal now. For example, the tariff matter, okay? And also, we cannot deny the increase of extreme weather events. Malaysia primary disaster is flood, and then it has been affecting a lot of the state. So recently, I just asked, oh, which state has more flood? And then a lot of people did not say the state. They say where they are. Puchong, JB. So it's no longer just state issue, it's like the area also facing this kind of thing. And imagine those areas are, you know, main CBD, then it will actually have a lot of effect. So when it comes to your financial effect, it can be uh, your cash flows, your cost of capital, and also access to finance. If there's a change of behavior of the customer, then probably sales drop, and then it will affect the finance. Yeah. Now, when we talk about climate-related opportunity, we don't only talk about risk, we talk about opportunity. There are so much as well. So for example, energy source like Malaysia, we are actually very advanced in this solar, and we always have this renewable energy movement. So when during this we have like new technology come out, we have a supportive policy incentive, for example, GITA, GITI. If you fix the solar panel, you get a tax allowance. So these are all the examples, the opportunity that we will have. So in the end, it will still affect your financial movement, especially when you look into the long term. So there will be a risk. It will still, in the end, affect financial. There will also be opportunity that, in the end, will affect your financial. So, what type of opportunity or risk when it comes to climate related? It is always what we are doing on daily. So let's go back to the risk. We talk about physical, acute, chronic. Acute is what? Like flood, yeah. And then if you talk about opportunity, we still have the market and resilience to actually move towards the new market, like what I shared to you just now, from machines, distributor, creator, manufacturer, to become e-waste collector in a way that they also help to turn all these waste to become the raw material of their own production as well. Yeah. Now, example, NUTS transition plan for 5 years. So in 2019, they talk about major storm which cost their aviations for estimate 2.2 billion. They also shared to you that the bad weather will force the airline to fly 1 meter extra per kilometer, and they're burning extra 6,000 tons of fuel and producing extra 19,000 tons of CO2. So this is a current acute risk and impact. Cannot run away, killed, because it's a weather issue, and this bad weather has caused it. So what happened is the future. This is their anticipation. In 2050, they predict that the horizontal flight efficient on day will be more worse because of 50% air traffic flow, and it will expect to be worsened by 0.5%, and extra 57,000 tons of CO2 per year. They shared to you what happened in 2019 and what they anticipate on 2050. So what is their outcome? The outcome is what? Reducing flight duration. So future flight operation will also be modified by climate change with jet streams, reducing many transatlantic flight duration, both eastbound and westbound. So they say that this is their decision, one of the outcome that they may look into it. So it will help to save 55,000 tons of fuel and also 175,000 tons of CO2. But this one do not share strategy. So at least they have one idea of solution, but what is the strategy? Yeah, strategy, will it be working or not? This is also one of the questions. Yeah? But I want you to look into what they anticipate and what is the current method. This is how they actually assess their risk and opportunity. Yeah. Since we are going into so many examples, I just want to very quickly to go through these metrics, because metrics consideration is very important. It has to be reported in your disclosure, and it must be for your company use, and it has to be consistent over the time. So to actually associate with the proper industry uh, requirement on the metrics, it is I always encourage to use the SASB, which is now integrated in IFRS, because it can help you to have the baseline, and then you can develop further from there. Okay, so this is a common activities that a lot of people say, I don't know how to start. Yes, it's fine. You start by seeing what has a benchmark. Then you can develop your own one. Because every company is unique in a way that what type of impact is different. Some company is culture, some company is very much on how customer behavior and what type of strategy they keep the customer coming back. So when the strategy being used is different, the culture implemented is different, then you will develop different metrics for your company as well, that from others. But there will be still similarity in the same industry. So if you have difficulty to feel like you want to start but you do not know how, so just go to the ISSB standards where SASB will help you. Yeah. Later on, please remind me, I will share the link as well. Now, another example of decarbonization strategy I want to share to you. They put very clearly they're aiming to have the leadership position within the steel industry. And then they tell you what is their anticipated gross investment, which is 10 billion. They want to commit on net zero steel making globally 2050. So they also share to you that what is the target they want to reduce its intensity 25% globally and 35% in Europe by 2030. Okay, then what is their target cover? Scope 1 and 2 only, not scope 3, only scope 1 and 2. They are very clear to tell you. And what is the assumption behind the targets? They also shared to you over here. The key assumption is two. One is carbon capture, utilize and storage. Okay, another one is the cost of green hydrogen become more effectively competitive for the next decade. And many much still require government support. So they are sharing what is their anticipation. They see what's their business direction. After you have your strategy, look into it, and then you will find your risk and opportunity, and so on and so on. CDE you can see from here. So they also shared one thing that is very I find very interesting. It says that you look at E, as it has been reported, 2060 may not be realistic net zero target for developing economy, which may means that emission do not peak until 2030. So they even check and go around their affected country or region to actually analyze their business effect. So they link their strategy to their target and share what is their assumption. Yeah. So a very comprehensive way to showcase to you what they have been doing while they are planning their strategy. Yeah. So this is the annual report. You can see what is their scope 1 and scope 2 comparison, and what is the carbon removal they are moving on from 2018 to 2050, and what is their target of moving. They use a very visual way to help people to understand. So what is their scope 1? Okay, they tell you in 2018 they announced the project, and then along the way to 2030 they want to cut to 75%, and along to 2050 is whole carbon removal, and they show you the scope that they are cutting and how they do it. So you can see there's one part is they are using offsetting as well, of one of as the one of the tools because maybe cannot reach, so have to do offsetting. just anticipating lah, okay? So when we talk about all these climate related and also financial related, we cannot run away coming to GHG protocol. So just a very quick one. For scope 1 is a direct emission. For scope 2 is indirect emission, which we need to purchase for the energy consumed. And of course, scope 3, which is the biggest and the most important and also most crucial that we need to cut down, is all the indirect emission in your value chain. So whether it's any internal carbon price that you have made decision for, or you want to purchase, or you want to offset, or you want to achieve net zero, all this has to be a executive remuneration. You need to be considered in there. And for that, I want to show you an example how the GHG emission breakdown by source. This is a very good one. You look at it, they show you the type of the emission. They tell you what is their carbon footprint. And then they show you what is their value chain in generation, trading, network, end user, and others. So, which means that this NL, they really do collect the data, not only in quantitative way, very qualitative to separate it out in different activities so that they can learn from their business activity to know how they can reduce the emission in the same time does not affect the efficiency of their operation or affect their P&L, yet they may find opportunity to increase their market share and hence improve their P&L. So you look into it, that emission, they can even break down by sources. They can even tell you others, which is their real estate, or others that maybe their company, fleet, their offices. It is so clearly laid out. Yeah. This is one of the way that they're using visual to help people to understand their report instead of just writing. Yeah. Now, so come back to knowing that so many on-hand things we need to do. What is the thing that we need to refer as a baseline for a start? Okay. If you are a public listed company, look at what the listing requirements. Look at what is the policy objective. Then compare your industry standard and engage your other stakeholders. For you who are SME that are not in the public listing requirement, what is your policy objective in the time for Malaysia? Like say, example, the National Sustainability Reporting Framework. Use that framework as your policy objective so you can bench yourself in the industry standard and then engage with your stakeholders. So build your baseline on your environment first. Yeah, so you can know what it goes on and how your business strategy works together. So some strategic relationship between all these standards, like CDP, ISSB climate standard is the foundation baseline for CDP. CDP is a very huge questionnaire where you have 20 questions in one page for 44 pages. And the question they drew is so much related not only towards your reduction of the GHG, but also how effectively it can be last long and what type of risk you will be facing. Yeah, and then for GHG protocol, yes, governance arrangements is there so that actually ISSB, they are actively engaged in the update for the GHG protocol corporate standard. For GRI, they are also integrated in there, aligning all the common disclosure. So you can use GRI. If you are using GRI, you may also find it that it's inside the ISSB. Yeah. So of course, TPT, IFRS Foundation already assume responsibility, and they will continue to assume this responsibility. And the most latest is the TNFD, which is the Task Force on Nature-Related Financial Disclosure. Currently, ISSB is in a consideration, like how to build this recommendation to meet investor need, especially when it comes to information. So I believe that in another 1 or 2 years time, TNFD, which is this natural related financial disclosure, will also being put in as one of the baseline for the ISSB. But for now, if you are using GRI, you understand GHG protocol, you also have the experience going through CDP. Don't worry, ISSB has the similarity and common in there. That's why they are working together for helping corporates, companies, or anyone that interested to practice the IFRS S1 and 2. Yeah. Now, we need to use climate related scenario because we need to assess what the company climate resilience. When this assessment happens, it will help you to understand what is the changes you need that will help you still be in the top in the competition on your industry, especially how you adjust and adopt it in your financial, operational, and also capital to meet the short, medium, and long term. So the inputs and the key assumption is very important. When you do assumption, there must be information or research or whatever engagement that you have done that showing you the assumption will be happening in this way and how it will relate back your resilient assessment to come out with a proper strategy to mitigate all these risks. Yeah. So I give you an example. This is a CMAX 2022. They do scenario analysis. You look at the risk. I will just go through one risk and one opportunity. Yeah. So you look at the risk. They say reduce market demand and for higher carbon products commodity. They show you in policy. What is the probability? What is the impact? And then we'll talk about what is the sustainable development, what is the probability, and what is the impact. And the net zero emission, the probability and impact. This is the risk. So you could see the impact is medium or high or low. Whereas they also shared to you opportunity, increased demand for energy efficient, lower carbon products and services. So in the state policy, impact will be medium, sustainability also medium, but you look in the net zero emission is high. Even probability, they think that is also high. So when they do this alignment adjustment with engagement, and then they are very clearly showcase that what is the risk, what is the opportunity, so that the board of directors able to make a better decision aligning for their business strategy. Yeah. Now, we always know that future events are uncertain. So when we judging information, we have to consider a few things. So first of all pertinent facts and circumstances that how it could affect your possible outcome. And the second is you need to know what is the potential effect on the amount and the timing and the uncertainty on company future cash flow. Again, very important, future cash flow over short, medium, and long. We need to know what is the low probability and high impact outcomes. Okay. And of course, the effect of the potential risk, the maturity judgment, and how you do scenario analysis. So you can also go to WCSD. This is a scenario catalog. They will help you to actually consider very different range of future uncertainties and how you evaluate your maturity to become more resilient towards these uncertainties. So there are so many materials that we can download and help us for a start. Yeah, for a start. Yeah. So come back to your management. When you want to implement and what you need to do for IFRS and the whole adjustment process, the very first thing you need to do is your gap analysis. You need to check what is your existing systems and process. And then you evaluate what is your sustainability risk and opportunity. And after you have assessed it, identify it, prioritize those that is vulnerable and also can handle very quickly. Yeah. Then how you are going to control them? Who will be the department that involved to contribute on this expertise? And what is your internal factor and external factor uh, that is contributing towards this criteria as well? And re-look into your risk and opportunity using scenario analysis or any others that to look into your uncertainties. And then you place all these resources so that you can manage them, or you can come up with a new process or system to have better monitoring. Yeah. So again, BCSD ESG Disclosure Handbook is there to help you. Yeah. So this handbook can be downloaded as well. Most important is when you do a disclosure plan, you need to take control on your own narrative, not because what others says, but what your business strategies and movement for the next short, medium, and long term says. That is the most important part. And always have the internal collaboration, because sometimes we do not integrate the department together to actually have cross-functional discussion. So this is a very important one. And always create reference point. What is your audit trail? How you judge this uh, analysis? What type of example in the market, not in the market, how you can be the example that create good practice within the market. So this is your disclosure plan. You will have to emphasize and showcase is the what is the documented that you have done to show improvement in the whole roadmap process. Yeah. So I'll just give you an example. Developing a disclosure plan from Hammerson. You can see that it shows you introduction. They says that they report environmental and social impact on their business activities. So they verify through what? What is their primary disclosure? And then they show you the information. Yeah, so this is the greenhouse gas emission since when? So in which year? What is the consolidated disclosure? Then they also share what is their voluntary non-financial disclosure. Yeah, so this is a good example how you want to manage to share whatever information that you have in your hand, or able to showcase you have on the pathway. Yeah. Before we go into making a conclusion for your disclosure, always remember that digital reporting has become more and more common. But in the same time, when these are common, we still want to accompany by the materials by the ISSB standard. So in this ISSB taxonomy, they actually reflect all the requirement from the ISSB standard. That does not introduce any new requirement, but they just want you to be more digitalized so that you can show your transparency. Yeah. So if you want to make sure your information, your report being prepared in a quality way, please provide comparative information. A lot of report does not show comparative from year to year. Some even just do for this year, and then next year, they only compare the data. They didn't compare the analysis and did not align back with whatever policy they have put on. So if there is some errors in the previous year, correct it. Do not keep on duplicate the same thing. And you can also do cross-referencings towards different departments' reports to meet the condition. So you have to be connected, you have to be material, and you have to be appropriate. This is the quality of information disclosed. Yeah. And for commercial sensitive information, some of may ask, oh, I have so many commercial sensitive information. You are not required to disclose them, but provided they are not already publicly available, okay, they are something that cannot be seriously potential economic benefit. They also cannot be used as assumptions for the commercial sensitive, and they also must be reassessed at each reporting date. Because we know that sometimes it's very impossible to disclose all information without prejudice, because you will not know what kind of seriousness or economic benefit will happen if it's realized. So as long it is within this scope, you may choose not to disclose your commercial sensitive information. Now, things to remember where you want to produce a report: it has to be more relevant, more material. It must be something represented your company, and also can be comparable, can be verified, and can be understood. So again, need to remind everyone, the connection between the risk and opportunity must be clearly laid out, must be disclosed, whatever the core content, and the most important thing, it must be related to your financial disclosure and financial statement. So some of the questions that you may ask yourself, like, is this disclosure, is it within the same period as the same reporting company? Does your material information cover all the need that your investor need to look in, your stakeholder need to look in? Do it include comparison? And the most important, do you comply with whatever regulations that being imposed? Yeah. So summary for your practical next step: please get ready yourself. Understand your current situation, which is a gap analysis. And then in that time, create your roadmap, your company roadmap, because every roadmap is different. We can refer and take it as a case study, but it shall not and should not copy and paste if it doesn't match your business strategy. Most important, not to only ensure quality data, but you need to enhance along the way. And all these standards you have to familiarize. I believe in one thing: there are no experts in this world, including myself. Along the way, we get to know and learn more faster or slower. It depends on how much hands-on we have. Yeah. So lastly, educate your organizations, because these are the people will be producing this quality report. So put them into a capacity building, make it more, professionally understanding, and then familiarize it and understand what is the current market trend as well. Yeah. So for that, this is my last slide. You can scan it and share to us. There are 2 or 3 questions in there. It depends on how you want to answer them, and if you need help, of course, Kermin is here. But do share with us what is your, some challenges, and then from there on, we will see how we're able to help you on that. So, Kermin, that's end of my presentations. I will be putting up the link for the IFRS SASB, so that those who do not know how to start or want to look into the maturity and develop their own later on, they can refer from the industry related matter. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jolene, for this insightful sharing. So now we'll move to our Q&A session. So we've seen that there's some Q&A posted. If you have any other questions, kindly post in our Q&A section or in the chat box, so Ms. Jolene will address them. Okay, so maybe we can start by answering the Q&As in the Q&A section. Okay, over to you, Miss Jolly.
Yeah, sorry, I only see from Serene Lu, right? Given that the only one, right?
That's from the chat box. You can also see the Q&A section.
Okay. Give me a minute. Let me look into the Q&A. Oh, I actually couldn't see the Q&A. Do you mind to share?
Okay, yeah, maybe I can read it.
Maybe I answer the Serene one first.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a moment, because I'm reading the message. Okay, so the question is, given that most of the Malaysian main and its company have published its sustainability statement according to the Sustainability Reporting Guide 3rd edition, is it correct to say that the next step is to calculate the relevant S3 and prepare IFRS S1 and S2 concurrently? Okay, partially correct when you say that calculate the S3. But the key information, the key thing is to prepare yourself to the next step in IFRS S1 and 2. So to calculate S3, currently the request is only two, which is employee commuting and business commuting. So as you know now, you already going to move into a IFRS. The better approach is to do the climate first approach and your scope 3 relief. Then during this transition, you're able to align back to your IFRS. Can I ask whether you have done the TCFD? If you are not done the TCFD, that will be also a good part for you to move on with it. So calculating calculating your scope 3, yes, but however, this transition period for the initial year means that it's not an immediate mandatory. You need to plan for it. So it is better that you move on with the IFRS 1 and 2 and run it and see what is the general requirement. Because when you do the S2, you will realize that scope 3 will already included in there. That will be more essential is to understand IFRS first. IFRS, because the maturity assessment is very important to you. Kermin, I have difficulty to share the link because I would want to share the link to them. Is it possible that I send to you and then you share it?
Okay.
Because I couldn't type the message in there. Yeah. So I am sharing the IFRS SASB navigator to Kerming, and then Kerming can share into the group chat because I cannot type in the group chat. I don't know why. And then you can register yourself in there. So yes, Serene, you will have to familiarize in as IFRS S1 and S2 because S2 there is inclusion of the scope 3 already. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the next question.
Okay. So you can't see the Q&A section, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, then let me post it in the.
No, Serene, I don't mean that you need to ignore it. What I mean is when you familiarize it, you will realize that the S3 will also be determined in the IFRS S2 already. Okay. Next is, do you foresee punitive measures implemented in Malaysia in the near future to organizations who fail to comply? Actually, this is a very good question. It's a highly will be having this kind of measurement. Why? Because the framework already shared that the mandate IFRS S1, S2, and for those who found guilty in fraudulent disclosure, you will actually they can take action towards it. So a few things what is the thing that have been shared in the national sustainability reporting framework. First, you must mandatory adoptions, okay, and then you need to comply. You need to compile or explain on whatever indicator that you put in. And second, in the NSRF, they also ask to aim to ensure the credibility and assurance for your sustainability disclosure, because they want to avoid greenwashing. So external assurance for scope 1 and 2 will have to start already, in if you can see from the NSRF. And then the third thing is the existing regulations on Company Act, Bursa Malaysia also shared to you that any non-compliance reporting obligation will actually lead you to fine, legal proceeding, disqualification, striking off. So that will be a lot. And the most important is the greenwashing concern, because this becomes very, very huge thing, especially when it comes to corporate fraud. And lastly, I will have to share to you is the reputation damage. This part will, when you're not comply, you actually in fraudulent, then it actually lead you to in a very serious matter, especially if you go for legal proceeding towards greenwashing. Is going to be a very big matter now. It's no longer just fine or what. It may be also in prison. Yeah. There are next question, right? For the case effective IFRS reporting applies next year or in 2020. Oh, you mean the data? Data is 2025. Then you disclose next year. Yeah. Because you have to start your annual reporting beginning on or after January 1st of 2025. Which means that if your financial year is January to 31st, that is the most easier, you will be issued in 2026. So if your financial year is July until June, then you will be reporting after 30th of June 2026. So you got to collect the data this year. Yeah. It depends on your financial year. Will you be able to send us the presentation material for our future further references? I will leave it for coming side. Because this one I already sent to them. Yeah. If we are involved in several industry, do we need to disclose R&O by industry or S overall? Wow, this is a good question. Just to share with you, my client in Vietnam, they are also having this issue, because they are in the same time they are distributor, they are manufacturer, they are also B2C. So it's this case. So under IFRS S1 and 2, so if your company is involved in several industry, so the general principle is to disclose R&O in the way that material and decision are useful to the investor. So what does this mean? This means that the information must be sufficiently allow them to understand your whole entity prospect on the sustainability matter. So how you need to consolidate it, you need to do the baseline, you need to have a maturity guideline. Okay, of course you can refer for SASB, but in the same time, you must specify what is the segment unique and maturity sustainability, because it's different. And if your R&O are largely similar across your industry, then just not too materiality to actually share everything. But if it's different, yes. If it's same, then it is okay. For this, they will suggest you to consider industry specific, which is when you manage your climate related risk and industry in opportunity risk and opportunity. This will be reflect very well to show whether it is similar or not. So in this transition period, I will share to you like in Malaysia, usually climate first, climate first. They want you to put climate first in your principal business segment. So you have to switch to look into this way. Okay, but you need to identify lah, huh? You need to identify. Can I see the next questions? Does IR application together means double maturity? Yeah, most of the thing now are double maturity. Okay. Next question, who usually prepare ESG reporting aligned with IFRS S1 and S2? Accountants or corporate departments, how they obtain information related. Okay, there's two-part questions. One is who is the one preparing and who are the auditors. So I will answer the first part first. So the one that usually you say that prepare actually is you need to understand that IFRS is a multiple disciplinary effort. Okay, so you cannot run away lah, financial. So finance and account department is one of the crucial role because they need to give you the data, they need to do the measurement, they need to integrate into their financial, and they need to make sure assurance readiness. Okay, and then the second part, if you have an ESG department, if not, you will have a governance department. If not, then you will have to form a team that need to do the overall coordination so that you can do maturity assessment in a broad perspective, your narrative development, your stakeholder engagement, how to benchmark your best practice in your corporate. Then, of course, another one is your operation. And then if you have risk management department, then yes, they will also need to do the scenario analysis for you. If you have legal department, they are also part of it. IT department, because how your data system to put up, especially if you have software to capture your information, they have to handle the reporting tools. So these are the department because they need to get internal data collections and then the external data collections. And of course, another part is HR. HR. Although information may not be too much in quantity, but qualitative information from HR is very important. Yeah. So the second part of the question is how do the auditor audit the reporting, ESG reporting. Okay, so in the landscape of NSRF, which is the National Sustainability Reporting, they will audit in the international assurance adoption. So of course, the first one is they will recommend more on the ISSA 5000, although they just released last year but it is more aligned with the IFRS. Okay, so it's a ISSA 5000. You can Google that, ISSA 5000. And the revised version of ISAE 3000. Okay, ISAE 3000 being widely used as well. So they are using this kind of assurance. Then of course a few others is IESSA, ISQM. But I'm talking about the two is because they were widely used. And another one is because alignment. So ISSA 5000 is alignment, ISAE is 3000 is widely used. So there are two types of assurance. Limited assurance, which is a lower level, they perform less extensive procedure. And then I will not recommend to go, personally not recommend to go for limited because it shows negative form, which means that it shows that nothing has come to really a good attention. So usually we'll go for reasonable assurance so that it shows that higher level of assurance, and also in the same time it shows the your procedure is extensive, you're able to provide sufficient evidence, and all this evidence are appropriate, and the most important is you're able to show how your applicable criteria being go through the proper process. Anyway, for NSRF already proposed, this one I already shared that, reasonable assurance, mandatory lah, will be mandatory starting from Group 1, which is January 1st of 2027. So by the end of it, the whole Malaysia will have to do the assurance in a reasonable way lah. So just to share slightly a little bit more, what type of audit focus they will look into it. They will look into your what type of framework you apply, how your governance do it, what is your whether your maturity assessment process is proper, how you actually your strategy, how they address the sustainability R&O, and then did you do your risk management to identify, assess, and managing all the related risks? And then, of course, your metrics and target. That is the most important because it traces your data and either to be compared or not, relevance or not. So all the time, auditor will face a lot of challenge because data quality is bad or don't have proper established control. Sometimes the scope 3 too complex and didn't actually disclose in a proper way. These are the few things, and then they want to ask whether you did go for any competence capacity building or not. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, so I see another question. So I hope I answer a question. So for Shuwen, there will be two part of the question. First one is it not necessary to use SSPS and GFS ATC climate when performing scenario analysis? Good point. This is a very critical point for IFRS S2. So to share to otherwise SSPS is a share socio-economic pathway. And NGFS is a network for greening financial system. So this is not mandatory, but highly recommended if you can use a best practice that publicly available, such as intergovernmental panel on climate change, and then you have a NGFS. Yes, it's good as well, but in the S2 when they talk about the scenario analysis, it's more on they want to analyze and assess your resilience on your strategies, on your business model, on the climate related changes, what is the development, what is the uncertainty. So what is the principle in the end of the day they want you to do is they want to make sure that whatever scenario you approach, it must be commensurate whatever the circumstances is. So example, whether you have available skill, capability, and resources internally or externally, and also analysis can be performed or not without any undue cost or effort. Then what kind of reasonable and supportive information should be provided, and also in the special disclosure time horizons should be considered. So SSPS, NGFS, IPCC, highly recommended because they are science-based and they also show credibility. And most important, they have a possible future in the long term of climate pathway. Yeah, and it's more consistent, more comparable. And the most important thing, like NGFS, they have more holistic view to show both in transition risk and physical risk into the macro financial impact. And also your reporting will be very relevant. So these are kind of a very good practice. But of course, still a lot of people will be definitely choose IPCC because that is an easier way. But SSPS and GFS is, to me, is a good one. It's a very good one for the scenario analysis. Yeah. Okay. Then the second part of the questions, what would what would be the start? Oh, sorry, it's from different people actually. Sorry. So what would be the starting point for mid-corp non-listed company to transitions from internal reporting to formal standards such as GRI or ISSB. Yeah. So with amount of capacity building required. So actually, I would say that this is a very good idea, very good initiative you are using proactively, because it is still not require any non-listed that with revenue below 2 billion. But uh, for the starting, you should actually identify your business case first, which means that what kind of assess your supply chain pressure. The supply chain pressure is the most important. What type of risk management? Again, operational efficiency. So it's a start. So for this, you can do stakeholder mapping, and then you go and do buy-in, leadership buy-in, and for governance. Because I have to share to you, if your leaders or even yourself, if you are owner, that will be better. If you are not, you are leader, then you need your board to buy in first. Because they need to buy in, and then only you can start the initial assessment and baseline. So, or when you start the baseline, you can look into the policy, which is NSR. There is a very good framework. That is the first one. Analyze the current governance structures in your company, and then you can move on the stakeholder engagement, and then you will come out with maturity assessment. So these are the simple steps to start with first. Then you can choose a starting framework. Okay, since that you know GRI, TCFD, they are all in the IFRS, you can study IFRS and slowly implement it. The most important is the data collection. You have to make sure the source and the gaps are not too far, so that the information, the quality of the data will be good. For capacity building, for a start, I think that training for your key personnel, or you already have a team that is dedicated for this, then this one is important. Then also your board, you need them to understand there will be a good briefing for them, or specialized sections for them. Then you process this the roadmap to move on. Then this is all simple way you can start. Then only you move on with software. A lot of people say, oh, the first thing they do software. No, no, no. Let's come back to the basic that you're able to start with. So that's why there are so many references that you can go for right now. You actually can go to the navigator that just now the link, and see where is your industry, and then you can start from there to understand how what is your material first. So foundationally, just get your board buy-in, get the basic data collection, especially like energy, water, waste, this kind of thing. You can start, then you choose a framework. Yeah. So then after that, you develop from there, you have some capacity training. Then you move on. I believe in the third year, you will reach certain maturity to understand the whole thing, right? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, someone left a message. The meeting schedule is about to end. Okay.
Oh no, that one just ignore that. The next question is from Dr. Mohammed Hafiz. So does qualitative reporting lead to greenwashing?
Wait,
What's
wait,
your
wait.
opinion?
Sorry, and I have another question here. Can you just put on all the question for me? Because I saw another question from Suresh. Any professional certificate for IFRS similar like GRI? Okay, there is. So there is a FSA credential. You can go to FSA credential. This one is provided by IFRS Foundation. And then their focus is to help to understand between financial material sustainability and also company ability to drive the enterprise value. This is a two-part credential. So the first part is MCQ. The second part will be a lot of more how you analyze the thing. You can go to their e-learning workshop, or you can also go for ACCA, MIA, this kind of training, or some of the independent training. But if you want to get the certificate that is really good, which is most direct, if a FSA credential. Kermit, I type to you. Can you type to them again? FSA credential. Yeah. Okay. Then I saw, okay, from Dr. Muhammad, just now you were reading one, right? The question is, does qualitative reporting lead to greenwashing? What's your opinion? Wow, wow. Wow, tough question. So, actually, my opinion, qualitative reporting itself already have some significant risk for greenwashing, but it does not mean that it lead to it. Does not mean. So sometimes qualitative reporting can be very ambiguity, very ambitious, but lack of definition. And sometimes no comparability, no benchmark. So it is very hard for stakeholder to do comparison. Uh, and sometimes company may cherry picking. Hey, we plant tree in the community. I like this example. We plant tree, we save 100 tons of CO2 we reduce. But what type of trees did you plant? No data. uh, how how long the tree will survive? No data. You know, planting tree also a knowledge which I just sharing because you plant this kind of small tree like that one that cost like 30 ringgit one I tell you most of them 80% cannot survive. And you need to plant like 1.5, 2.5 meter. Then it depends on what type of trees. Some tree cost like 300 per trees. So if you only spend 10,000 and plant this kind of small tree, it doesn't really show the data lah. So the most important thing, like I say, no clear accountability. So it will actually increase the the greenwashing uh, perception. So this is something like, but still is still necessary because there are strategy intent because they may have a long-term vision. They have no data about a long-term vision. Then they want to do the risk and opportunity management, so they need that. Yeah. So sometimes also understanding maturity so that they can understand certain topic. But of course, IFRS requirement very heavily emphasize qualitative disclosure, especially on the governance, strategy, risk management, and metrics and target. That's why just now I brought that up as a framework. So it's a way how you do it. So you must be reported in a very in a way that you link in the future verified and you're able to comparable in your quantitative data. My way of doing it, I always do both. If I couldn't have the quantitative, then the qualitative will have to match with whatever framework or roadmap that we will be putting up. Yeah. So it's not, I want to emphasize, not inherent of greenwashing, but if it's misused, and also lack of creditability, then yes, that is all where the greenwashing occurs. Okay, I will answer your question. Yeah. Thank you. Kami, is there any other question?
Okay, so far I don't see any other questions. So is there any other questions from the floor?
Okay.
Okay, I think that should be all. Okay, now before we end, we have another thing to share, which is our checklist. So we've prepared a free IFRS checklist for those who attended today. You can scan this link and request for the free checklist. So, and if you have any other inquiries about IFRS or any other sustainability related trainings or consultancy, you can just contact us. So, and I'll call that the end for today's. Thank you all for attending. We will share you the recordings through email for those who registered. Yeah, and we'll keep you updated for any future webinars or sharings. So thank you. You may scan the QR code shown. Okay, I think we have one more question from Tan Lim Sun Fu. So for a company to start with the S2 reporting, should we also start with the net zero plan?
Yep. What is it? Oh, there is a question. Okay. Which
In
one?
the chat
Again,
box.
sorry. Okay, okay.
For a company to start with the S2 reporting, should they start with the net zero plan?
Okay. Uh, okay. Reporting S2 does not automatically require you to have lah, huh? But if it's good if you voluntarily wants to develop one because it will help you in your transition plan, especially when we talk about low carbon economy. So in IFRS 2, they focus very much on the material information, especially on the four core pillars, the governance, strategy, risk management, the metrics, and target. So when this transition plan happens, it will actually help you to do a specific type of transition plan in the long term. So then your net zero, if you have a net zero plan, then you can outline what type of action, what type of investment, what is your interim target that you want to achieve lah. But if you don't have, it's okay. Yeah, you still can disclose in the strategy in a way in the scenario analysis. But if you have, then it will be just more better. So it is good for you to think in this way because then managing transition risk will be more uh, efficient for you. Then you can also set better target in a way that your team can visualize, your company can visualize. Yeah. And also, of course, feeling feeling good for future proofing. Yeah. So this is my suggestion. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So last call, any more questions? Okay, so I think that will be the end of today. So if you have any other questions that we have not been answered, or maybe you want to privately message us, just kindly contact us. So I'll end this meeting. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you. Thank you.